I have spoken before about the value of the JA3 hashes that allows you basically to detect attackers. I'm going to show an example here with Cobalt Strike. People going to sites that they're not supposed to be going with malware, etc. And we're going to be detecting those in spite of not having man-in-the-middle interception capabilities and having all this traffic going encrypted over SSL. That's the value of JA3. How do you set your QRadar system, your QNI in particular, to work with that? QNI will compute your hashes, but where do I get JA3 hashes? How do I set this up? How do I test this? And our friend Dale Bowie from Australia was kind enough to create a GitHub page with all this information. And the link to it and more details, even that what Dale provided, can be found in this text file. I'm going to go through it little by little in case that you are new to the channel and you're not familiar with how you get all this material. If you go to any of my videos, in all of them, I put a link to a public box folder. Here it is. And I put the links to all, an index of all my videos and all that. But you will find in particular folders for things on the video. And in this particular video, I created this one, setting QNI for JA3. And you'll find all this material in there. So when you install this, and more details in a minute, you're going to have the capability of running some Python script that Dale created that will not only create the reference sets in QRadar, but also will make API calls into these places, for example, abuse.ch. It also does it to this JA3.com, but this site seems to be down, and it's been down for a while. I don't know what's wrong with them. But this one actually works, and it's going to populate reference set with valuable JA3 hashes. And you'll do that by running those commands. Let me go back to the text file that you'll find in that public box folder. So here's the link to Dale's GitHub. And when you extract that package, you put it anywhere within QRadar, you're going to run all the programs that are in there. Let me actually go into my QRadar. Let me see, what do I have here? Let me go into that directory. I created those scripts for the file. And this is the package that you will download, expand, and put somewhere in QRadar. And you're going to be running all these Python scripts that are going to perform that. They're going to create and populate those reference sets. Now, in here, I just put the first one, abuse CHJA3BL. But you're going to do this with all these Python programs. So forgive me for not putting those at the moment that I record the video. I will do it later. Now, how you invoke those Python script is, of course, you put Python 3, the name of the program. Skip verify because it doesn't have, this has a self-signed certificate. My QRadar system does. Put the IP address of your QRadar console, which in my case is this one, and then put a valid authentication token. You know how to get those from the admin tab, and you get your authentication token, right? So let's actually show you what it's like, and you can run this multiple times because if the package is already created, it's not going to do anything different. In fact, it may even bring new JA3 hashes that were not in there. So I created a file with every one of those commands, and if you run them, the one.sh is going to execute those commands. And when you do that, when you finish doing this, and again, this site is not working. So when you run these commands, the command will end that quickly, will not give you the messages that you saw before, and that's because this site, at the moment you run it, it was down, right? If they bring it up, you're going to get some data. So you did that, and now you want to test it. Well, for that, my friend Josh Morin was kind enough to provide us an example of Cobalt Strike attack, a PCAP of that particular attack. So you download it from this website. The password to decrypt it is infected, and then you go to your QNI box, not your QRadar box, but you SSH into the IP address of your QRadar box. Of course, you put that content there on the QNI box, and then you invoke this command to run it. Let me actually do that in my demo system. So I can SSH into my QNI box, which is 172.16.60.60, and then I paste that command, and when I run it, this is the type of result you should actually see. So that that puts into my system the replay of a pickup of a Cobalt Strike attack, and I have my QNI system with all the components for detecting these and other kinds of bad things happening. Again, in spite of the fact that that pickup is encrypted and I don't have money in the middle for it. So once that is done, and actually I need to change the order where I put things in here. In fact, let me actually do that. Once you have run that, then Dale was kind enough to provide me with 2 AQL searches for detecting that type of traffic. This is, let me actually, there's one piece that I forgot to show you. When you go to that site, abuse.ch, this is what you'll see. If you go here to the SSL blacklist, here's where where the tool actually automatically gets all those hashes, right? So you can just run Dale's command, and boom, you get all those hashes in your system. I think that is actually very, very nice. So we have replayed that pickup, and now if we go to our QRadar console under network activity and we execute those searches, in particular this one, we actually can see that actually my home country Venezuela it found is where that thing was actually recorded on that particular attack. So I also, when I was chatting with Dale about it, he also mentioned that because we were talking about how you do this in AWS, he said that that's perfectly possible, and he actually provided me the link to the instructions on how you do the traffic mirroring in AWS to have this detection. I hope this short video will help you set up, test, get more familiar with your QNI system detecting JA3 hashes of malicious type of attacks, visit to sites, malware components, etc. And if you know of any other sources of reputable hashes for JA3 and this type of traffic, please put it in the comment section of this video, and I'll be happy to perhaps create another video, give you credit for it, and let the other curator members of this community be aware about it.